गुड इव्हनिंग. मला एक प्रश्न होता सर.
Yogesh, thank you. Sorry for all this.
मला एक प्रश्न होता सर छोटा. सर एवढा तुम्ही बाकी appreciating actions, depreciating assets म्हणजे postpone तुम्ही सांगितले. गोल्ड बाबत काय? गोल्ड appreciates and depreciates.
Your voice is getting cut. I can't understand.
गोल्ड इन्व्हेस्टमेंट बद्दल काय म्हणाल सर तुम्ही? व्हॉट इज युअर ओपिनियन अबाउट गोल्ड इन्व्हेस्टमेंट इन गोल्ड?
Who is asking? I couldn't get the. Your voice is getting cut.
बहुतेक त्याचा प्रश्न असा आहे की गोल्ड इन्व्हेस्टमेंट बद्दल तुमचं काय ओपिनियन आहे? इज इट अप्रिशिएटिंग एसेट और डिप्रिशिएटिंग एसेट? योगेश देशपांडे विचारत होता.
No, in general, gold investment has got some peculiar characteristics. Why? That is why it is recommended that in your asset allocation, roughly about 10% of your assets should be in gold. There it is not so much a question of whether it is appreciating or depreciating assets, because it's a market related thing, it will move up and down. But there are certain distinct advantages with gold. Is that one is that it doesn't recognize any boundary, so all these currencies and real estate are all subject to so many ifs and buts. So gold to that extent is recommended, not as a speculative investment, but basically as a emergency instrument, 10% of it, and most of the Indian ladies, I think, have it, so which is adequate. I won't, unless you are really knowledgeable about the gold and the gold market and the commodity markets, I won't advise anyone to invest into gold as investment avenue more than say 10%. Okay.
Any more questions?
Yes, sir. You said, can you hear me, sir? Ashish Wagmar here.
Yeah, Ashish, your voice is audible. Go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, you said you write blogs as well. So, if you can give us the links of the blogs, that would be great, and that would be helpful.
Yeah, it is same. Money Monk. I'll tell you. My website is moneymonk.me. Me.
Okay, moneymonk.me. Okay.
And the website also has my blog link. Otherwise, blog is also moneymonk -blogspot.com.
Okay. Can you just ping that to the chat so that I can just pop it?
No, I'm an infantry officer. I don't know. But if you go to my website,
okay,
you will find a blog link on that.
Not a problem, sir. I got it. moneymonk.me. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Sandesh Patil 2004 batch.
Sandesh.
So, what is the difference between EPF and PPF? And can employee contribute voluntary PF? Voluntary PF into EPF?
No, both in basic nature, both are provident funds. employees provident fund is basically meant for the employees, in which the certain contribution is made by the employer and certain contribution is made by the employee. Now, PPF is a provident fund made available to people because not everybody is applicable to EPF. Now, however, people who are having EPF are not stopped from opening a PPF. They can have both the accounts. And in fact, I would say it is recommended you have both the accounts, because EPF sometimes you'll change job, you'll this. Nowadays it is much more streamlined, but because your account, but otherwise earlier this EPF used to be a lot of mess and corruption. Luckily, it is much better now.
Let's say if there are any more questions, let's say I'll share your email ID with the participants, so that let's say they can connect with you offline. So today we have Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
They can write to me on learnfrommoneymonk@gmail.com.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Yeah. Today, hello.
Nitin is there.
Yogesh, your voice is breaking.
Nitin is there, no? Nitin
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah. You can introduce them. You do the introduction.
Yeah. Today we have Nitin Bause, sir, who is joining us from Ahmedabad, and he's here. Like he carries around 25 years of experience into IT sector, and he's going to talk us about the digital marketing. So, Nitin, sir, you can take the charge. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Srikanth, and thanks, Yogesh. Nice. Actually, it is nice to see so many faces. Am I audible properly?
No, थोड़ा सा डिस्टर्ब होता है सर, डिस्टर्बेंस आहे. हॅलो,
आता व्यवस्थित आहे?
Yes.
नाही सर.
Okay. असू शकतो.
Hi, Nitin. How are you?
Maybe after some time.
Yeah.
You can tell me.
It is audible now. Yeah.
It is better now, Nitin.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So digital marketing. माझ्याकडे slide set. I've got a slide set ready. I don't know if I should show it because the kind of crowd we have, it is better that I just speak. To the slide set, Joe. So basically,
Nitin, you can show the slides as well.
Because we are from various fields, what is important is that we are not all on the same page in terms of marketing. So marketing, in the general sense, we understand that as a person who probably operates marketing, and also understand that as a person who consumes the marketing. So we have been with various kind of marketing, and right since the beginning, since our childhood, we have seen marketing in different forms, and today we understand marketing in a very different sense, because as we mature, we understand that the toothpaste mein namak hai kya doesn't mean necessarily the namak, but it is something which is to promote. So when we talk about marketing, what is more important is the impact on the consumer. We also can be producers of the marketing. So from that point of view, it is important that we understand marketing from a digital perspective, because coronavirus, of course, has given us opportunity, but even before that, everybody was looking at the digital aspect of marketing. There is digital means of marketing which are available in the market. So what we got to understand is the benefit that digital marketing gives over and above the normal marketing. So when we talk about marketing, what is more important is what does the customer get? Because we have to keep the customer in front of us. The customer should get a good experience. The customer should be able to provide the feedback. The customer should be able to complain. The customer should be able to make recommendations. At the end of the day, the customer should be delighted. So we talk about customer delight, and that's exactly what.
Your voice is breaking,
Hello.
Nitin.
Hello.
Your voice is breaking, Nitin. Hello, Nitin. Your voice is breaking.
Is this better now?
Now it is totally nil.
You might like to switch off
Now it's
the video. Video consumes a lot of bandwidth.
Yes.
So, hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Better now?
Yeah, yeah.
It's better.
It's better.
Okay.
Better.
All right. So I was talking about the customer delight. So all these aspects which we talk about, let's say for example, the experience, the feedback, the recommendations, at times making complaints. We have seen in the past that what happens is that it is very difficult to have this two-way affair, if you call it so, between the producer and the consumer. So the consumer being your customer is what is going to consume your marketing. Now, when we talk about consuming the marketing, what becomes important is few things which are like the feedback mechanism, the measure of loyalty, the reach, omni-channel, and automation. So these are the 5 things which I'm going to talk in terms of digital marketing versus normal marketing. But before we go there, I want to make sure that we understand the difference, just so that everybody is on the same page, between the regular traditional marketing and the digital marketing. So traditional marketing, we have seen over the banners, billboards, pamphlets, brochures, whatever we keep getting, TV advertisements, radio advertisements, everything that has been traditional and we've been seeing since our childhood. That is what the traditional marketing is. When it comes to digital, we've seen that with the internet rising, there are a lot of things which are now becoming available in the virtual world on the internet. And there are apps which, let's say, 5-7 years ago, nobody knew what is Facebook or WhatsApp. Today, those tools are available. There are many other tools which help you from the marketing point of view when it comes to the producer-consumer relationship. So when I talk about those kind of tools, those are the tools, like say for example, simple things like blog, or things like writing something which is having data and graphics. So infographics, if many of you must be knowing. So infographics is a very good tool to communicate when it comes to people who are less literate or not literate. And this is very important because we are in various domains. The beauty of Ajinkyan's is that we are into different domains, and we will need these kind of marketing techniques when we go to the market to provide the facilities that we have in our product. Now, there is a mechanism. Now, because of the internet, what has happened is that you can have a mechanism to get the feedback of your consumer. Earlier, if you listen to the radio advertisement or if you look at the newspaper advertisement, you won't know how many people have looked at it. Of course, there used to be a ballpark number given by agencies who are into this kind of surveys, but they would just tell you that, okay, this is what is the readership of this newspaper, and the front page was seen by these many lakh people, and you would, okay, then manage your marketing plan, budget, and whatever. But with the internet now, the beauty is that if you send a focused marketing on Facebook, you can get a response as to how many people looked at your video or your text, how many people clicked on it, for how long did they look at it. So details to the level where you can understand that what your target audience is doing. So that's the difference between the regular traditional marketing and the digital marketing. One of the differences. The reach has increased by the digital marketing media in terms of, let's say, we go back to the same Facebook advertisement. You have a facility on Facebook, and not only Facebook, for that matter, you have facility on LinkedIn, you've got facility on Instagram, on many other such platform, where you can decide that I want to target my advertisement to only people having their hometown in Maharashtra, in the age group of 25 to 45, who are male and who have children going to the school. Those kind of demographics can be configured, and you can simply target, you can define your target audience. So when we talk about digital marketing, remember the benefit that we are drawing out of it is the automation. Automation is something which is very, very useful when it comes to the digital marketing. Okay, so automation, that was the fifth bullet point that I was talking about. In terms of marketing, so there is not only automation available for deciding your
Other
target.
participants, please mute your mics. Other participants, please mute your mic.
All right, that's better. So basically, when we talk about automation, there is automation available to define your target, to decide that what is going to be your target audience, and based on that, you can also make automation such that the person whom you are targeting, that person's reaction to your advertisement can be measured. So that is where basically the digital piece comes. All right, so I will move to the next item. So in terms of digital marketing, there are things which are important from the point of view of the target. So again, there, the customer focus, the focus of the customer is very important. Then, as I mentioned, there is automation available, and many of you I can see are from the technical background, so you understand that the artificial intelligence or tools of machine learning, how they can be applied for the digital marketing. Many of you have come across these kind of tools where, let's say, you visit a website, and on that website there is a chat available, and you start chatting. Now what happens is that you are not necessarily chatting to a person, you are actually chatting to a chat bot. So there is something called as a chat bot. Now this is a very excellent tool where you don't need a human interface. Certain questions like what is your name, what is your policy number, what is your age, what is your address, which city you're calling from, all that information can be gathered using these kind of tools. And then if needed, where needed, a human intervention can be given. Now, this is something which we got to understand, that from a marketing perspective, when somebody visits my website, I am a product, let's say, and somebody visits my website, I can understand very clearly from the visit that what exactly that person is looking for. So we apply tools of this kind where there is artificial intelligence and machine learning to basically gather information about the visitors. Now that many of you must have studied in the psychology and other marketing techniques, what is called as a persona. So there is something called as a persona, and persona mapping gives you an idea that how your target audience got to be. So all these things, when we talk about automation, when we talk about the digital world, we got to understand that they give us the facility to go to a target. Now there is also something called as a omni-channel. So omni-channel marketing is specially meant for the brick and mortar industry, where they do advertisement in the newspaper, they put up banners, and they have got the website, they have got access to the Facebook, they put advertisements on the Instagram. So there is techniques available where people who are accessing your website and also your Facebook page and also visiting your store, you can collate that information together and you can understand that, okay, this is the user who purchased a washing machine at my store and was looking at a refrigerator on my website. So that's the kind of digital marketing that we are talking about. Another important thing about the marketing in general, everybody knows, and right from the beginning it is the case, that content is the king. So when we say content, earlier days it used to be written content, then it came to audio advertisements on the radio, then there came video content where there were small clips available. And now what we have is content which is written in form of blog. We have content in the form of your website. We have got content which is audio, which is podcast or any other audio tools. And you have got video. So content is still the king. So when it comes to marketing, content is going to be the king and it will remain the king. So the more the better in terms of content, because if your content is crisp, if your content is to the point, so, and that's why you must have seen that many advertisements which come on the TV, they attract your, they get your attraction very fast. The reason is that there is a punchline or there is something related to the coronavirus or there is something related to the current trend. The Amul guys, for example, they are using the current circumstances and making advertisements on that. So that is something which is beneficial from a marketing perspective. Going further deep in the marketing, especially digital marketing, there are various areas in terms of the marketing when it comes to digital marketing. You must have heard terms like SEO, SMM, which is search engine optimization, or social media marketing. And these are the terms which typically you might be the consumer. Because when somebody, when you want to search something, let's say today you read about something, let's say you want to read about the herd immunity, about the coronavirus. Now, when you type herd immunity in Google, what you're going to see is a list of websites which talk about herd immunity. How does this come? This comes by something called as the search engine optimization. There is on the page, on the website page, there are keywords, and those keywords are marketed. When I say marketed, they are marketed in a two-way approach. One is by putting that content on the website, so which is called as the organic approach. Now, when you start selling these keywords, when you want your website to specifically talk about herd immunity and you want your website to come on top, what happens is that you have to adopt inorganic approaches. When we say inorganic, that means you're going to pay for that keyword. You're going to pay to Google, you're going to pay to Instagram, you're going to pay to Facebook, LinkedIn, which are the platform where you want to reach to your clients. So when we talk about reaching, so one of the points that we talked earlier about the reach to your customer, that's what gives you the reach. You can reach your customers by giving by using these kind of keywords in terms of the inorganic marketing. Other than that, blog is something which most of you know and most of you must be using also. Many of you are writing blogs. I would say that we Ajinkans have got a very good command over the language and we have got the right kind of approach. We should basically keep writing. The more you write, the better off you are. You could, like, I remember in the school days, we used to write our diaries. So why not continue with that practice? Keep writing whatever comes to your mind. It's better to write down. Once you write, you can publish it. Either you keep it with yourself or make your own blog. Who knows that people will visit. If you are fond of story writing, you can write YouTube videos also, stories for that. So this is just an inspiration so that everybody, remember, in terms of marketing, whether traditional or digital, one thing is common and that is brand. And what is a brand? The brand is yourself. You can understand very clearly that when you market for your company, it is you who are marketing it. When you market for yourself, it is for yourself that you are marketing. So creating a brand of yourself, of your organization, is what basically marketing is all about. So to stick to that, you can also pick up blog writing. Few more advanced things in the marketing. There is marketing automation available. There is something called as drip marketing available. There is something called as buyer intent, persona mapping. These are all the terms which we have to understand that are going to be available all over. I could speak about each and everything for at least 12 minutes, but I would say that let's open up for questions so that it's better that we do a pinpointed approach.
Sir, this is Akshay Jadhav, 2003.
Yeah.
Sir,
yes, Akshay.
there are two questions, sir. One, first is it absolutely mandatory to have a website to do SEO? And second is, whenever we deploy SEO, many times agent they come up if we don't get the desired result, they come up with Google has changed the algorithm and because of which
controlled by limited people.
That is why.
Okay, so Akshay, let me get a lot of background voice. Somebody has unmuted.
Gajanan Patil. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so Akshay, your question, basically, when you talk about SEO, remember one thing, nobody can guarantee you anything. The agents might come and give you a lot of yarn about it can be done like this, it can be done like that. But remember one thing, nothing happens overnight, nothing can be changed. We have to be very, very clear. See, you understand your business better than the agent. So you put yourself on the Google, on your phone. When you put yourself on the Google or on the phone, what happens is that your product, तू स्वतः कसं search करशील? Ask yourself, what will you type to search that product? That is your keyword. The agent will be able to tell you your keyword. Getting the point?
Right, sir. Right. So, but like as the first question was, is it absolutely mandatory to have a website, like sophisticated website to deploy SEO, or we can just templatize things and market those templates on maybe Facebook, Instagram, or on different platforms?
So does your business require visiting cards?
Yes.
So then your
Yes.
business requires a website also.
Okay. Okay.
As simple as that.
Okay. Okay.
In the digital world, your website is as good as your digital visiting card.
Okay. Okay.
So this is Nilesh Punde, 86 batch.
Yeah, Nilesh.
I have a question. There's one ambiguity. Basically, you should have a person in-house, or whether you should appoint an agency for digital marketing.
So this is a very good question, and many enterprises with whom I deal are dealing with this kind of a challenge. You must understand one thing, is that when we talk about marketing, it all depends on how complicated your business is. So if your business that we are talking about is specifically dealing with what you can say specific keywords, it is better to have somebody in-house. If you are talking about, let's say, standard things, selling of cars or selling of bike or selling of some agricultural produces, that is something which any topic he can write about and can market about. But when your business is specific, it is better to have an in-house person. I'll give you an example. So I am mentoring a company in the US which is into electronic health records, EHR. Now,
Okay.
when it comes to the healthcare sector, there are a lot of people who can write content for me. They can write blogs, they can write video content, and I can easily market it. But because this company is specifically making tools for EHR, I need somebody who can write that kind of content. And that specialist content can come only from people who are in the organization who understand my product.
Okay.
Second thing, as long as the blogs are concerned, blogs are very normal, casual writing, reading material that is available on the internet. But when we talk about specialized things like white papers, infographics, specific videos, demonstrations, that is where you need an in-house person.
Okay.
Sir, Sagar here.
Yes, Sagar.
Yeah. So primarily what we understand is content is the key for marketing purposes. But then what I write on a blog or say on my LinkedIn post or on my website or my white papers, everything is going to be different. So even on a Twitter or on my Instagram, these messages probably or rather primarily are going to be very different from each other. And, one person probably is not good enough or rather is not sufficient enough for me to kind of have this kind of grounds covered. Now, the question here is, can I have some automation in place, or is there any automation in place wherein I can kind of filter out my, or rather, kind of trim my messages as per the platform that I'm choosing?
So, understanding your question better, that if you are on LinkedIn and you want to look at posts which are specifically related to your domain, you want to find those, correct?
Right.
So in that situation, what you have to do is that on the LinkedIn kind of almost all platforms, they provide you the news feed based on the keywords that you provide. So you can use keywords and hashtags to filter the content that is relevant to you or relevant to your business. Now, once you have that shortlisted, now you can easily then comment on that, and very easily you can read and give your feedback.
So it's about me wanting the post some content on either of the platforms. But I'll probably write a blog which is like 10 pages or 3-4 pages. LinkedIn post will be say just about 2 paragraphs. But the message essentially has to remain the same, because I cannot be contradicting if I'm talking about one single product. But on various platforms, I have to have the same message going on. So my question essentially is like, is there an automation, or rather is it just about your human intervention, wherein I say, okay, but यहाँ पे मैं 4 लाइन लिखूंगा, वहाँ पे मैं 1 पैराग्राफ लिखूंगा, वहाँ पे 10 पेज लिखूंगा, ऐसे सिर्फ मुझे करना पड़ता है. पर एक कोई टूल नहीं है जो मुझे बोले कि this message is good to be put on Twitter or Instagram or something like that.
Well, we are a little bit away from that scenario. You have a scenario that is very much desired kind of scenario, and I believe Samir Kalal is around. He can add to this, that we are moving to the world where even content will be generated automatically. So when we say that content is the king, at the same time, your problem exactly is what is going to get solved maybe in 2 to 5 years, maybe 2 to 4 years, where you will have tools where you provide keywords, you provide the duration, you provide whatever additional information where you want to post, and it will generate a content which is unique, crisp, short, depending on what it is.
Okay, sir. Sir, this is Ashish Konde from 97 batch. I have a question about search engine optimization. Suppose I have a business, for example, logistics business, and I want to do by search engine optimization. What I want is, if anybody search for logistics, my website or my business should be listed first. So, but my competitors are also doing search engine optimization. So, what does it finally boils down to? Does it boils down to who pays how much to Google, or how do we deal with that situation?
So, if you pay to Google, that is your approach of paying for it, which means that your page, when it comes, you must have seen the Google results, it will be showing AD on the side, which means that it is an advertisement. So when you pay to Google, it will be an advertisement. When you don't pay to Google and you adopt the organic approach, what you are doing is you are enhancing your website, you are making your content rich, and you are regularly updating your content. So for the SEO, and SEO is not paid marketing, so you are right, SEO, we should not consider the paid marketing in that, because now every person has become smart. Your customer is smart enough to differentiate between the regular search result and the advertisement. So that's the reason why you have to have the SEO in such a manner that your content is refreshed on a regular basis, because your website, as much as fresh content it gives, that much of ranking will improve.
Okay, yeah, that's what my question was. How to improve the rank, basically.
Yeah. So you have to keep on writing content.
Okay.
Yeah, Nitin sir.
Yeah, Shashi.
Yeah, actually we have left out with 1 minute now. Okay, so maybe if there are any questions, okay, any more questions from the participants, it could be answered offline, so that like I'll share your email ID or your number, so that they can connect directly with you. Is it fine, sir?
Yeah, I'm putting my email ID and phone number on the
sir.
chat.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nitin, and thanks everyone. Probably it was a nice session.
Thank you,
Thank you, everyone.
For your valuable information and your valuable time, sir. Both Lieutenant General, Lieutenant
Thanks,
Colonel.
thanks, Nitin, sir.
Yeah. Thank and all participants. Thanks to you.
Yeah, thanks, Nitin. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.